Hey everyone, this is LuckySevenDX. Welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. In the last episode, we brought Zelda out of the castle, and then she proceeded to die, which is rather unfortunate because dying tends to be a really bad thing. But so basically, Chancellor Cole turned out to be evil, destroyed the Tower of the Spirits and the Spirit Tracks, and basically the bad guys just sort of kicked our ass. That's sort of how the beginning of most games go anyway. Alfonso's pretty much out of commission, which is rather unfortunate. So we're going to talk to this dude. He's like the princess's mentor. He's her teacher. I think his name's Teacher. He doesn't actually get a name. His name is literally just Teacher. Maybe that's his actual name. Maybe his kids are just like, or his parents are just like, you know, we're just going to name this kid Teacher. Why not? That's a perfectly legit name. Then again, there have been enemy characters named Teach before, so I guess it's legit. Anyway, so we tell her that basically the princess is missing. She got killed by Chancellor Cole, and she's like, "Oh, why don't you tell the princess?" And that's just so he's supposed to be like funny. He's supposed to be like he's pretty much like Toadsworth actually, like the kind of character where he's like, "Oh my God, the princess, the princess, the princess, the princess is in peril. I'm going to freaking wet my pants." And I mean, in that respect, I like him the same way I like Toadsworth. Like, I do tend to apparently like those characters. I think they're welcome comedy, they're welcome comic relief in such perilous scenarios, I guess. I mean, a good game does balance its comic relief with its actual plot, so characters like those can be really appreciative. Anyway, so Zelda apparently is here, not very noticing. She looks a little pale. Didn't she die? Wait, does that mean she's a ghost? Spirit Tracks? Oh, I see what you did there, game. Yeah, I guess that's like kind of their point, I guess, is a little play on the word spirit, because it means a few things in this game. Not to be confused with Spirit Temple, which I'm not really sure what that temple had anything to do with spirit. They could have just called it Desert Temple, and it would have been perfectly fine, but they called it Spirit Temple for some strange reason, which makes no sense. Anyway, if you talk to the guards, they'll actually say stuff like, I thought I saw someone at the corner of my eye, and yeah, stuff like that. So they can't see us, but we can, because we're Link, and that usually means we're special when it comes to Zelda. I don't know. I mean, Link's always a different guy every game, so I don't know why these random people just have this connection of like the royal family. Because the Zelda is like always like the same lineage, supposedly, or something like that. But Link is just like some random different boy every single time. So I don't know how you validate this whole connection thing. It's not like they had any reason to be connected, but they are somehow. I do love the use of Zelda's lullaby in this game. They use that soundtrack a lot, and they use it in some very interesting ways to set the mood. Like this remix right here is really awesome. So basically, dark forces, blah blah blah. We have to save the world together. That is the other nice thing of this game. In case you were wondering, in most games you have like a sort of companion, like Navi the fairy or Midna from Twilight Princess. In this game, the companion actually is Zelda, and that is really cool to actually have her play such a prominent role in this game and be such a very a very prominent character in a game. Like Zelda usually isn't that prominent. Anyway, she's floating. Link's like, whoa, holy crap. So yeah, Zelda's a ghost, and she's like, I mean, it's a nice way to basically have Zelda be able to be your companion, though, because when you're a ghost that just sort of follows you around a ball of light, I mean, it's like how Midna worked in Twilight Princess. She just hides in your shadow. Anyway, so we're going to get our first major item here. It is the Spirit Flute. Another reason why this game is called Spirit Tracks. Apparently everything's a freaking spirit in this game. Spirit everything. So we're going to take this flute, keep it safe, because Zelda apparently feels like it's something going to be necessary, and of course it's going to be necessary. So this game, once again, though, does try to bring back the whole playing music to get stuff done, which was very prominent in Ocarina and Wind Waker. Well, Wind Waker is more conducting, but they do bring that whole, learning different songs and mechanics and crazy stuff like that. Man, I want to turn into a little ball of spirit and follow Link around. Zelda, you're so freaking lucky. So here we go, Spirit Flute. So what you do is you hold the stylus in order, and you just slide over to a note, and you can actually blow into the mic. Which, thank you, this is a post-commentary, so I don't have to blow in the mic while I'm playing this game. So you can play all 6 different notes here, and you'll learn different combinations. You basically just slide it back and forth in a certain combination, like, blue, yellow, orange, whatever. And then, you blow in each note in order to basically, or you can hold it in pretty much and just go to each note. Well, unless there's like a skip of 2, but most of the ones are actually notes that are all in a row, so you don't have to actually, you can just constantly blow. You can just blow and then quickly play a song, and that's how you use the Spirit Track. It's kind of interesting because you actually have to blow into it. I guess that's one of the nice things about the DS is it really does get the player a little bit more involved. I mean, blowing can be annoying, but it's used in very short bursts of this game where you can actually get away with it anyway, so it's not tedious to have to blow in this game. It's just, you know, it's just like, you know, normal, just like little tiny breaths. The game is actually pretty sensitive to it as well, so you don't have to worry about it too much. So yeah, blow into your mic and you can play a flute. Kind of cool. Anyway, we're gonna run around this castle a little bit because we need to get some rubies. There's one there, and there's also one out here, which is good because it's 80 rubies to get a shield, and now we actually have, like, this isn't, I'm thinking of something different. There's a fossil out here. Well, there's still a treasure out here. I was right about that. There's actually 20 rubies downstairs, so we're gonna go get that as well. But first, we gotta break more pots because we want treasures. As you notice, there are actually, you can just find treasures lying around in some of these pots. So, only the lowest tier treasures, though. You can't find, like, the really good, expensive treasures in these sort of pots. You can't do that. But it is the major. I mean, you can get the second tier stuff in. There's the other 20 ruby chests. Now we have enough to buy a shield. We'll do that shortly. But anyway, as I was saying, you can't find tier 2 stuff on the ground. You find those mostly in treasure chests and playing mini games. The tier 3 stuff is really rare, so we'll be finding only a few of those in this game. And then like the tier 1 stuff, usually finding just random pots or whatever lying around, or rocks or stuff like that. So it gives you more of an incentive to break as many pots as you can in this game, because you can find random treasures, and that's always a good thing. Because those treasures are going to be used for more than just money. You actually do need to collect a good amount of them to get stuff. So, well, I guess, I'm not going to get all of that kind of stuff. There's only one in particular, but those of you who have played the game know what I'm talking about. Those of you who haven't, you're going to have to wait a while, unfortunately, because these treasures don't come into play for quite a while. But anyway, so we need to get a sword in order to go further outward, because there's monsters out there, and that guy's basically playing the role of Mido. But luckily, we're in our guard uniform still, so we're going to talk to this guard captain and be like, dude, we're new, we need a sword. And he's just be like, okay, here's a sword. So we got to recruit sword, we got a sword, but now he's going to teach us the art of combat, which is kind of cool. I like this dude. I like guard captain dude. He has a really epic beard, and he just looks awesome. So anyway, different ways of combat in this game, which I'm certainly going to need to get more use of this more. I'm still not that good at this, but basically the normal attack is if you just tap a person, you can basically just Link will lunge at them. It's also a way to do jump attacks if you're far enough away, is by tapping them. So your primary way of fighting probably should be the tap, just by tapping enemies. There's also what we just saw there, which is if you slash, if you just like swipe across the screen, you can do a slash. And then obviously there's a spin attack. You move your stylus all the way around Link, do a full circle around Link, and he'll do a spin attack. So 3 different ways to use this sword to do combat. It's not that complicated a system. It's mostly just tapping. So but it's still a nice system. I mean, it works. It is really interesting how they can just entirely run this game off touchscreen controls, movement and slashing and everything. And it still actually works pretty decently. So I guess well done them. I mean, I guess the combat system is love it or hate it. I mean, I guess honestly I do prefer using actual controls to do things, but I can live with the touchscreen controls. I think that, I mean, they work. They just come naturally to you. They're a good system. But anyway, we could go ahead. I think you don't need a shield to continue on, but we are going to go get a shield in a little bit. Also, you can start cutting these grasses you can see to get rubies and hearts and whatnot. So, just wanted to go over there quickly and show that off because I'm random and weird like that. I just feel like doing crazy stuff like that. Also, we don't need to we don't need to throw pots anymore. I can actually just break them with my sword because I just like to break things. That guy has some really weird hair down there. Did you see that? His hair was like spiked up in 2 different parts, and that's just, people are weird. I love the shopkeeper. His nose is as red as mine was the other day if I'm freaking cold. But we have a shield now. Awesome. So the way the shield works, you don't actually equip it like you do in most Zelda games. It just is there. It's like how it was in Zelda 1. It was like that too. But it'll just hang there and it'll deflect some enemy attacks on the front. So Link actually will hold out his shield in combat, and it actually will deflect some enemy attacks. So it is kind of useful. It does sort of help compensate for the fact that you have to be using it. It does help a lot with the stylus combat too, where like some enemies might be able to get past you while you're trying to click on them, because unfortunately the game isn't 100% precise, and you have to be a bit precise in where you're clicking to attack. So sometimes you'll miss, and the enemies will be there, and then they will luckily get deflected out the shield. Hopefully, you won't take too much damage. Anyway, as you saw, we had some more treasures and we had some other stuff. So, and we have our equipment up there too now. So we have our sword, we have our shield. We're pretty much good to go right now. So let's go ahead. We're gonna head back to that dude, and we're gonna go ahead and go to the next area of the game and do some combat. Here's another way to get there, by the way. You either go through Zelda's chambers, or the main chamber where we have the ceremony, or you can go up this way and then go around this way. So plenty of ways for you to reach floor 2, I guess. I was just quickly checking to make sure there's any treasures over here. Nope, just a bunch of pots. More stuff to repeat. I mean, Why are there hearts in pots? That's something I want to know, actually. It's kind of a little creepy. You're just like, you break a pot and there's a heart. And then Link eats it to get health. I don't know. Kind of sketchy, but as you can see, another example of finding treasures inside pots. So we got another demon fossil. Demon fossil obviously seems to be the most common treasure that we get in this game. Like I said before, different treasures are more common or less common in this game. So that star crystal we got probably seems pretty uncommon. Also the Stelpho skulls, I'm not sure if that's a common one or not, but the demon fossil obviously is a very common one we have this time. So, however, on the other hand, in my actual cartridge, the demon fossil is actually the rarest one. So it does vary between games what treasures you can and can't get often, which I think is a really interesting way to do things. It's definitely a clever way to run the treasure system. I think you can trade treasures between games. I'm not sure, but that also encourages multiplayer. I guess I don't know. It encourages multiplayer, but it doesn't require it, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we're fighting those guys. They take 2 normal sword hits or a jump attack. One jump attack or 1 spin attack will kill them instead, though. But just 2 normal sword slashes will as well. We save this guy. He tells us to investigate that wall. Yeah, we don't have bombs yet, but they already tell us about cracked walls and how to detect them with your sword, which is a similar mechanic as it works in many other Zelda games. Also, I'm gonna throw a rock at you. Eat a rock! Yes! That was awesome. Also, there's as you can see, there's bomb flowers. Don't need any special gloves to pick them up in this game. You can just pick them up and use them as bombs, and they'll sort of be our proxy bombs until we actually get bombs in this game. Like they are in most games. I mean, a lot of games these days do have these sort of bomb flower things. Anyway, so you hit the wall, you can hear it makes this normal sound, but if you hit this one over here, it makes a little hollow sound. That means you can blow this wall up, so let's get ourselves a bomb. You just click on it, and then you aim in the and then you click in the direction you want to throw, so you click the wall where you want to throw it, and Link will automatically throw the bomb over there. And there you go! There's our passageway into the tunnel. Now, one question I was going to ask is, why didn't they just do this to begin with? Then I realized, it was Zelda's in her human form, and there's guards there. She can't exactly get over here anyway, so I was gonna say, like, why did they have to use the train to get to the Tower of Spirits? There's a convenient path located here, but I guess there's an actual reason for that. That makes sense. Anyway, I'm gonna try a spin attack, and unfortunately, spin attack is really hard to pull off because, like I said, this game is really precise if it's touch screen control sometimes, especially for the spin attack. So if your circle's too small, it won't actually do it. So I did take a little bit of damage there. That's okay. But as you can see, for examples like this, you can actually bounce enemies off your shield and then hit them with your sword as well. So your shield does deflect a lot of attacks automatically for you, which is really nice. Anyway, so block movement. Lots of new field techniques to learn today, apparently. So you click a block, and it'll actually give you an up or down direction to push or pull it. Or you can click away from the block in order to get away from the block in order to do stuff. So we're going to push this block onto the switch. You could step out normally, but if you got off it, the door would go back up. It'll trigger a little cutscene. Every time we open a door, there'll be this little cutscene. I have to admit, these cutscenes are a little annoying, the little door opening cutscenes, because it happens like every single time. If the door closes, it'll actually show a door closing cutscene as well. So, kind of annoying. But hey, guys, it's the first small key of the game. We're not even in a dungeon, and we already have small keys. This is crazy. This is blasphemy. Who finds keys outside of a dungeon? My goodness. Although I guess speaking of dungeons, there's actually not the full 8 in this game. There's only 5 dungeons total, but there's a lot of stuff you can still do in this game, so I don't necessarily mind there's less dungeons. I mean, Majora's Mask is a great game. It only has 4 dungeons, so it's not the quantity of the dungeon, it's the quality of the dungeon. And there's also a lot of mini, little segments like this that are like little mini dungeons. So, it does make up for it, I guess. Anyway, so this little puzzle here tells us the order in order to hit, I think before I think it said, like, hit left before down, hit up before down, and then hit right first, or something like that. So that will give you an order to hit these things as well. It also said, that was a very lucky throw, bounced off the wall like that. We'll pick these up, and those blocks up there are bombable. Those blocks will always be bombable. They're basically your basic cracked blocks. So these are switches. You hit them with your sword or pretty much any other item, and they will activate. Also, the little timer thing indicates how long you have to do it. If it goes fast, it means you're almost out of time. But this one basically right, up, down, and then left. And then it'll activate. You learn those obviously from the stone tablets we saw. And this door will open. So, yay! Like I said, these are pretty much like mini dungeons, minus bosses and everything like that. There's still enemies, there's still, puzzles for you to solve, so even though there's only 5 official dungeons, there's still plenty of, interesting puzzles and stuff to do in this game. It does give you pretty much a full Zelda puzzle adventure action experience, so I think this game bounces that stuff very well. Anyway, we learned a new mechanic here, and that is that Zelda is freaking terrified of rats. So this will come into play later, but actually we're almost out of time because this is the end of this tunnel. In the next episode, we're going to go to this Tower of Spirits and figure out what the hell went on there and why it broke in half. And see if we can do something about this whole grim situation. So this is LuckySevenDX signing out. See you guys next time.